Welcome back, everybody. A couple of months ago, I did my first answering user comments video. I poured myself a drink, we had some fun with it, and so we're going to do the same thing today, except for I'm not going to be pouring myself a drink because it's 9:30 in the morning and I'm just not quite at that stage of life yet, but we'll have some fun regardless. And just as a reminder, you all know that when I share comments on my channel, I leave off the person's name because, one, I don't know if they're comfortable having it shown, and I don't want to assume that they are. And two, I don't want anyone to get upset or targeted if they have some kind of critical comment, because it's not about that at all. Because I love the comments, even the ones that are kind of challenging me in my thought process of what I'm doing. I think that's kind of what this channel should be all about. I will admit, though, as my channel has grown, the amount of nasty and accusatory comments has really picked up a bunch. And if I'm being honest, it is mostly from this group of people that are index only investors and believe that that's the only way and there's no other way. So I don't know who hurt y'all, but I hope you find peace in your life. All right, let's get started. So I got multiple comments about my wife when I shared her pictures and her backstory, and they were all kind of in the same mode of basically saying, wow, you were definitely punching above your weight class when you landed her. Wow, your wife is so gorgeous. Where can I find me one of those? And I just want to say, not one of you said, wow, she's so lucky because you're so cool, and how did she land you? And I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying it's hurtful. Now, I did ask her, when we met, what actually attracted you to me? Why did you like me to begin with? So for any of you out there that are still looking, what she said was, I made her laugh, I was kind, and she could tell that I was a good person. So I think that kind of tells you all you need to know about the quality of person that she is. And if you want any advice, find a quality person first. And but her main thing was, look, be funny, be kind, and don't be a jerk. So based on some of the comments I've been getting recently, that's going to be tough for some of y'all. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So I'm a fresh investor. I have not really done any homework. So needless to say, I've lost $1,000 out of the $9,000 that I put in, only in 1 month. It's expensive to be dumb, but I'm trying. So what I love about this comment, obviously not the fact that they lost $1,000 in a month, but they're just being honest. They're trying to figure it out, and they're like, oh, I just kind of bought some things that didn't work out and I'm making mistakes, right? So the first thing that I'll tell you is this happens to just about everyone. Anyone that comes out here and says, I never made a mistake, they're just either being misleading or they're just being, disingenuous. I've made a ton of mistakes over the years, and it's okay. So here's what I would say. With this particular person, if you're literally just starting out, the first 9K or whatever that you have, just putting it into a broad market index fund like the S&P 500 or even the total stock market index is really a great place to start. And if you still want to pick some individual stocks because it interests you, that is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just kind of mitigate your risk a little bit of understanding that you're new to this so that you don't lose so much money early on. So how I would do that is put most of it in just a basic index fund and then just take maybe a very small amount, pick 1 or 2 individual stocks max that you want to buy, and just get in the habit of how you're going to research them, how you're going to monitor them after you buy, and just kind of see how it goes. And over time, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff. You're going to learn new things about what interests you in terms of stocks, how much you really want to monitor and keep up with them. And you'll just learn so much from the first month you start to the first 3 months to 6 months to 1 year. You will be light years ahead of where you're at today. And the idea here is that you're building your foundation through index funds, but still kind of scratching that itch of being interested in individual companies and learning as you go. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that approach, and it makes sense for a lot of people. But most importantly, I would just say, try not to get discouraged. The fact that you know that you're learning and you're willing to try, that says a lot. And that's honestly the most important step. And that's why, people will see this comment and immediately dive into this is why you shouldn't invest in individual stocks and be real nasty about it. And to me, that is just not productive. You don't have to do it just one way. Now, if you're just starting out, I do recommend just do something simple so that you build your foundation first, but there's nothing wrong with dabbling a little bit with a little bit of money to learn something that you're interested in. So just regroup, reset, get a foundation going, and you're going to be just fine. Which brings me to the topic of the day and the many comments about index funds versus stocks. And honestly, this is probably going to be the last time that I talk about this in detail. And in the future, I'm just going to kind of direct people to the videos and comments that I've already made about it. But now more than ever, I'm getting a ton of comments just like this. Only 2% of investors beat the market over time. Perhaps you should reconsider your goal. Just buy the S&P 500 and do yourself a favor. Have you or are you considering an ETF-based strategy? Because you seem to point to so many disappointing stocks. Great content, but I'm curious, why don't you just buy the S&P 500 if you've been underperforming it? Just DCA into the market. That's the problem with individual stocks. Just go with ETFs. Do you ever consider to just concede and buy VOO? Buying separate stocks is a very expensive lesson to realize that you're better to buy ETFs. And then, of course, my favorite one, you won't beat the S&P because what you do is day trading. I wouldn't recommend anyone to follow your advice. You're leading your followers to bad decisions. So, first of all, it's but I don't want to be petty. I'm kidding. Now, the quick version is this, and I've talked about this many times. I'm a huge believer in index funds. Like, index funds literally changed my life. I was unemployed, I was broke, I had no investments, and when I finally started to earn some income and I got a good job, index funds is how I started. And I did that for maybe like 9-10 years of just index funds and nothing else. And it worked great. Like, it built a foundation for me and my family that we are still kind of enjoying the fruits of today. And I totally agree that they're a great choice for the majority of people, because most people don't want to dig into stocks. They don't want to monitor them. They don't want to do that work. All they're trying to do is make sure that they have a good retirement. And if all you do is DCA into an index fund and do that over a period of time, increasing your income, increasing your contributions, you're going to do great. And I've said this many, many times on the channel. And plus, when people ask me why I don't invest in index funds, like I've mentioned before, I do invest in index funds. Like, we still have accounts that are not the ones that I show on the channel, like my wife's retirement account that is 100% invested in the S&P 500, and it has been for like over 15 years. But the portfolio that I share is our actively managed portion with the goal to actually beat the market through stock picking. And like I just mentioned in the previous comment, building a foundation with index funds makes perfect sense for people, and especially when you're just getting started and you're still learning. And if you never want to do anything more than that, it's perfectly fine. Now, let's address the real issue though. Like, this mentality that there's only one way, index funds are the only way for retail investors, otherwise you're being irresponsible or you're being misleading. Like, I had a comment that was accusing me of knowing that index funds were better, but basically talking about individual stocks because I want to make money on YouTube. Like, do you realize how ridiculous that statement is? Like, the bottom line is this: I like picking stocks. I enjoy the process. I feel like I have a mentality and skills that may lead to a higher probability of success in doing it, and I'm just sharing my process on this channel for anyone else who's like-minded and has the same thoughts that I do about it. And these comments are a great example of why I try to be so transparent on this channel in the first place, because when you go out there trying to find information about investing, it's so hard to find, one, a view that's unbiased, right? Or to understand what the person's biases are, but then two, views that actually talk about both sides of it, right? I never tell people you should be investing in individual stocks. And I also never tell people you should only invest in index funds, because we're all different. We're all unique. We're in different situations. We have different interests. And all this channel is trying to do is show you my process, my thought process of why I did something, the outcome and results, completely transparent, not trying to hide anything of, oh, I contributed a bunch of money and that's why my returns are good. Like, you get to see how much is contributions, how much is actual investment gains, and all that in between. Because it's about learning. Like, it's not about you learning to invest like me or to buy all the same stocks that I buy. The whole point of this channel is for you to learn how to invest like you by watching me go through my process, deciding, hey, I like that, I don't like that. Oh, this gave me a new idea that I never thought about. And then through that, hopefully you get to a process that makes sense for you. And a great example of this is I got an email response to my latest newsletter that basically said, after watching my videos and comparing to what they were doing and I was doing with individual stocks, they actually think that they're better off investing in index funds right now. And watching me go through my process convinced them of what worked best for them, which was ultimately not even what I was doing. So I love that. Like, you have no idea how happy that email made me, because it's not about, oh, there's only one way or do it like me. It's about showing the process, showing the real results, and being transparent so that people can decide for themselves what really makes sense for them. And along those lines, I love when I get these comments where people have a different opinion on strategy or how they manage their portfolio, or just a different opinion on a stock than I do. Like, I enjoy following your portfolio regardless of whether I agree or disagree. It's interesting and entertaining, and thanks for sharing. Or, what's cool to me about your videos is that you and I have different approaches, but I respect yours and I think it's great. And I learn from your videos that you post. or just when people are positive and they understand what I'm trying to accomplish. The market in April was punished. You did fine considering you're holding so few stocks. I do think you can beat the index going forward. Good for you for trying. And again, this is exactly what it's about. Like, we don't have to agree on everything. I have my strategy, you have yours. We're comparing notes, we're learning, we're applying things that make sense for us, and we're getting better together over time. Like, there's no reason to be negative about that or just assume that there's only one way to do this. Or even like this one about Dollar General, which I love. It says, I like your insight on Visa. I bet against you on Dollar General, and I'm happy with the results so far. That video was the one that I found your channel on and subscribed. Now, seriously, to me, this one is so great because Dollar General was one that I evaluated and I basically concluded that I wasn't going to be buying it. I wasn't interested in it. And one of the big reasons why was I didn't think that their management team had done a good job of kind of anticipating or even talking about what they were going to do. And it was one of the big red flags that I had in that video. And since then, Dollar General got rid of their CEO. I think they had their old CEO come back. And since that, the stock has done very well. And so the great part about this is I didn't have confidence in the stock because of the management team. But this person, they were like, you know what? I'm going to bet against you. I still believe in Dollar General. And ultimately, even though I was right about the management being a concern, I wasn't right to actually buy the stock, and they were. So they got the benefit of the gains because they bet against my idea that it wasn't going to come back. I genuinely love that. Like, this is what stock picking is all about. We take the same information and then we get to decide, what our conclusion is, which might be different, and if we want to actually put our money into it. So, in this example, here's someone who said, look, I like your analysis, but I disagree. They were right. And just like my recent Starbucks video, multiple people were saying they were going to hold and confident that Starbucks was going to come back. And some people were even buying. Now, I wasn't, so I sold it, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. Depending on our goals, it may or may not be the right fit for you. But that's the beauty of stock picking is we get to decide what makes sense for us. And, it shouldn't really be contentious. In my opinion, it's kind of fun that we can have different opinions. Now, speaking of contentious, I know lately in videos and newsletters, it seems like I'm always bringing up the real critical comments and the ones that are negative. And I do this just because it's the reality of any time you talk about investing, there's always someone that wants to bring you down or say something negative or say that you're stupid because you don't know what they know. But the reality is that I get way more positive comments than I do negative ones, and that's really what this channel is all about. Thanks for the video. The whole video was informative. I was very close to pulling the trigger with a Morningstar Premium plan. Then you mentioned that most of the premium Morningstar features are available with a Schwab account. Like you, I have a Schwab account, so thanks. You saved me a few $100 a year. Now that is amazing. And this one from my Vanguard ETF video. This is super useful. Thank you so much. I was about to research on the ETFs before investing, and I'm from Singapore. Well, hello, Singapore. On my NVIDIA video, thanks for this video. You made all of this AI a bit clearer in my head. A great video for someone like me who's new to the game. Best video I've seen in a while, cemented my methodology to keep SCHD. And again, this is what I love. SCHD is a position that I sold because it doesn't fit my goals, but there's still people getting value from those videos and it makes sense for them. And they're like, hey, this cemented my decision to keep it. I love that. I like this video a lot. It helped me validate my strategy with these ETFs. Great insights. I wasn't as aware of these overlaps, so great to know. Thank you. Thank you for making this video. It really helped me understand stocks better. I'm not going to lie, I've been investing in stocks for over a decade, and I still didn't fully understand what exactly a stock was until this video. That's awesome. And then on the Yield Max Tesla video, thank you, Matt. I could never have figured this out myself. To be honest, trying to understand the Yield Max funds was very confusing for me, so I took a lot of time to try to get that video right. So I appreciate this comment. And then I always learn something new from your videos. Thanks. And then great video. It's pretty bold to talk so openly about the good, the bad, the ugly. I think we all have these stories, so it's nice to watch this and know it's a learning and growing process for everyone, because it absolutely is. And there's so many more of these, and I love it because it means that people are getting value, which is kind of the whole point. And, we're all kind of learning and growing together, and we're at different stages, and people have different strategies, and that's all good. So, even though I bring up the negative comments to just kind of show you that, look, everybody gets these, there's so much good going on that it doesn't really make sense to focus on them. So I'm not going to be doing that. But I did want to address one thing that came up in my recent stock screener video, because some folks didn't like that I was using a paid screener. Like, stock screeners won't make people rich. You don't care if people lose their money. What you care about is your affiliate links. Show some respect. please. Now, I don't know how long this particular person has watched my channel. It could have been the very first video they ever saw of mine. I don't know. But if you watch my channel for a while, you know that I'm pretty transparent with my affiliate relationship with Seeking Alpha. I mean, I think I've done one review video of their premium service, and I'm extremely transparent about how I became an affiliate of theirs, and I use their product in pretty much all my videos, so it's not like I don't use the product, right? But I have no problem kind of explaining the vision that I see for this channel, or kind of how I'm working it in terms of, is it going to be monetized? What's my plan for that? So I'll kind of explain that. So as of right now, the channel obviously earns ad revenue. It doesn't earn all that much ad revenue. It's definitely not a salary or anything like that. And then I have affiliate links for Seeking Alpha because it's a product that I use every day. And I think I have a couple others. I have one for TradingView, which is the charting tool, which I don't really talk about, but it's there. And then Amazon, right? For books. So that's pretty basic stuff. But that's all. And I'll just kind of let you guys know, I get pitched at least once a week. It's usually multiple times a week by, platforms and areas that want me to either become an affiliate or want to sponsor my videos. And what I respond to them back with is, one, if it's not a fit, I just tell them it's not a fit. Or two, if I'm just like, look, it might be a fit, but I don't actually use your platform. Because in some cases, they're actually brokerage platforms that you've heard of before. My comment back to them is, I don't think this really makes sense because I don't use your product, right? You guys know I use Schwab. I show it in my videos and all that type of stuff. And so, yeah, could I create a review video and put an affiliate link in there and, tell you that this platform is cool and, does some cool things? Absolutely, I could. But I don't really think that's authentic. It's not really, me, because I don't use that platform. So I have a really hard time recommending anything that I don't actually use every day. And so I just politely tell them, hey, thanks for reaching out, but no thanks. So in terms of how I am going to be monetizing the site going forward, I'm not going to be doing the review videos with affiliate links for products that I don't use. It's okay if other people do that. It's just not the right thing for me. What I am going to be doing, though, is creating kind of more self-paced learning, digital products. People can call them courses if they want. I'm going to look at them more kind of like a video workshop. Maybe they're an hour long, hour and a half. And what they do is they help you kind of achieve a specific thing. Like, for instance, the one that I'm creating right now is how to create your own goal and strategy for your stock analysis process, right? I share my strategy in every portfolio update, and it's what drives my research, right? To know if a stock happens to fit what my goals are and the strategy and criteria that matters to me. And so having a video workshop where it's kind of me walking you through the process of how I created that for an hour, hour and a half, that's something that I'm working on. And then, of course, I have a Discord where we're still figuring out kind of what all is going to be in there. And it's a place where I can just kind of share my thoughts throughout the day as I'm looking at markets and all that. And that's going to be interesting for some people and, not for others. But the idea is the ways that I'm trying to monetize are going to be things that hopefully bring value to folks, right? And if you're not interested in those and all you want to do is watch free videos, there's still going to be a ton of free videos on the channel. So I don't think this needs to be a contentious thing, right? I think this whole mentality of everything needs to be free and anything that's paid for is evil is just, obviously everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. Just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it and kind of the vision for what I see going forward. Now, over time, will that turn into hey, this is a full-time income and my primary way of, earning income? It might and it might not, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Okay, so last but not least, I'm actually going to show this person's name, but you're going to understand why. Shout out to John McQuaid. He literally went back through my channel and he watched every single one of my videos pretty much over a period of a week or two and was just commenting and appreciating the content. And John, you're crazy. You're an animal, man. I appreciate the amount of effort and dedication that you put in to do that. And I appreciate all the nice comments that you left. It was amazing. I can't believe that someone was willing to do that. I hope that you actually got some value out of those videos, especially some of those older ones that were probably terrible. But hopefully you feel like the time spent was worth it. And I can't say enough about how cool it was that you did that. I really appreciate it. And thanks for doing that, my friend. So that's all I have for you guys today. Now, if you want to watch my previous answering user comments video where I actually poured myself a drink, you can watch that by clicking this video right here. Hope you guys have a great day out there. Financial independence is true freedom. So keep building and stacking wins, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.